All right, are we live? I think we are. Let me double check. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Are we live? Let me see. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see. Let me see. I think we are. All right. Cool. So, what I'm going to do in this live stream is I am going to talk about the three main principles in email marketing that, I mean, honestly, nobody ever talks about, and it frustrates the hell out of me. So I am going to share this. And listen, these are not the sexy tactics that everybody wants to know about, right? This is not what's gonna generate you revenue right now. That's not what I'm all about. Of course, we can run promotions, we can do all of that stuff for email marketing, but what I really care about is building a business that succeeds long term. And that's what I'm going to show you here with these main principles. So, my plan here on this live stream is to share three main principles that will change how you view email marketing forever. And not just email marketing, but marketing in general. And in fact, you can apply these to life, like your relationships, your job, right? Your habits, everything. You can apply all of this to all of it, right? So I hope this will be useful. I'm planning on doing this for around 30 minutes, but it may be shorter, maybe longer. I don't know. So let's jump right in. The first principle that I really want you to understand is upstream thinking. If you join my email list, if you follow me on LinkedIn, whatever you do, you must understand that everything I talk about comes back to upstream thinking. All right. So I'll give you an example of this. One of the most common ways to think upstream is to exercise and eat healthy now because you want to be fit and energetic and healthy when you're older, right? That's an upstream thing that we do now, right? We take care of our bodies, we exercise, we eat well, we sleep well, and we do that because, well, we care about longevity, right? We want to be healthy and we want to be fit when we are older. This is upstream thinking. The problem is that most people don't understand how to apply this to marketing and specifically email marketing. So as I go through this live stream, everything is going to come back to upstream thinking. Everything. Because if you're constantly in the weeds, in the day to day, trying to put out fires, trying to solve little problems, instead of just solving those surface level problems, what you can do is go upstream, solve the deep rooted problem, and then all of those other little problems stop showing up, right? Now, I know that this may seem like a bold claim, but if you understand how to do this, it makes your entire life easier. And the problem is, most people understand this intellectually, but they don't know how to apply it. So, what I'm going to do is show you how to actually apply this inside this live stream. All right. So that's principle number one. Principle number two, again, I'm going to say that all of these are the most important, but they are all important as each other. All right. And this is the 90-day sales rule. So if you look at your email list, if you have one, or your customer base, your clients, I can almost guarantee you that roughly 80% of those people who have bought from you, customers or clients, only buy from you after they have been in your world for longer than 90 days. Okay. So, roughly 80% who buy from you will do so after 90 days. Only roughly 20% of people will buy from you within the first 90 days. All right. So the vast majority of sales come later on. And you can see this in your own business, right? Anybody that has an audience, you can see this. People follow you on LinkedIn, or they join your email list, or they do whatever they do. Most people who buy from you come later down the line, right? It's not rocket science. We all understand this. And there's studies that back this up. But I don't even care about the studies. You can see this in your own business, right? So have a look. Now, this is important because most people, when they set up marketing strategies, their goal is to make money right away. Now, understanding the 90-day sales rule, well, that doesn't really make any sense, because if we know that the vast majority of sales come later down the line, then why are we optimizing for those sales, right? And I'll give you an example of this, right? Of course, and by the way, some people do buy right away. That's why we need a system that optimizes for short-term profit and long-term profit. But let me give you a quick example. Let's say you have a family member and you want to buy them a new watch, a new Rolex, right? A fancy, nice Rolex. And you're not going to buy it right now. You're just doing research. You want to have a look. You want to see what the prices are, see what models of watches are out there. So you go to the Rolex shop, right? You walk in, and of course, the sales assistant walks over to you and says, "Hey, Paul, welcome to the Rolex shop. How can I help you? Are you looking to buy a watch? What are you looking for?" And you tell this person, you say, "Hey, I appreciate your help, but I'm just doing some research. I'm not interested in buying a watch right now. I just want to do some research, see what's out there, and then I'll come back in a few months and buy the watch." So the sales assistant says, "All right, cool, totally fine." And they leave you alone, right? Thank God they leave you alone. But what happens? Well, 5 minutes later, they come back and they say, "Listen, I know you said that you were not interested in buying a watch, but I just spoke to my manager and he said that I can give you 10% off. 10% off a Rolex. That could save you $1,000, right?" And then you turn around and you say, "Listen, I appreciate your help, but I am not interested in buying a watch. I've already told you I am just doing research. You know, I'll come back in a few months and buy the watch. I just want to look around." And the salesperson goes, "I understand. That's totally fine." And they leave you again. So they leave. And you're still looking around and you're feeling a bit frustrated because they're trying to sell you, right? And I mean, that's their job, but you've already told them that you're not interested. Then what happens? 5 minutes later, they come back. They say, "Listen, I understand that you're not willing to buy a watch right now. You're just doing research. I totally get that. But I don't know what happened. My manager has given me the ability to give you an additional 5% off. That's 15% off a Rolex. I mean, I know you're not interested right now, but I mean, that's a pretty sweet deal. Wouldn't you agree?" Right? And of course, that is a sweet deal. But are you still not going to buy a Rolex? Of course not, because you've told them that you're not interested in buying a Rolex. You're just doing research. So you tell the salesperson once again, "Listen, I am not interested. I've already told you that I don't want to buy a Rolex. So I'm just doing research. So thank you, but no thank you." And what happens? You leave. Now, let's analyze this situation. Was that a good experience or was that a bad experience? Obviously, it was a bad experience. You told them that you were not interested, but they kept trying to sell you over and over again. So, what are the chances that you are going to go back to that Rolex shop to buy the watch in a few months? Probably very slim, right? Much lower than what it was before. And that's the problem, right? This person in this hypothetical situation, they probably would have bought the Rolex in a few months' time. From that salesperson, they might have done it. But now there's pretty much no chance. And it's because they were trying to push the sale. Now, listen, this is what happens with email marketing 99.999% of the time. And it frustrates the hell out of me. Okay, so I want you to understand this. Most of your audience are not going to buy from you right away. So if you're trying to push them to book a call or to buy your program, to buy your course, to hire you for a service, if you're trying to push them into doing that, even though they've only been in your world for 5 days, then that's not going to convert them. All that's going to do is push them away. And that is problematic. And I'm going to actually visually show you this in a few minutes. All right. But first, I want to show you the third principle. And the third principle is optimizing for happy customers. And by the way, these are the three principles that I use for email marketing. This is what the foundations are. As you will notice here, there's no tactics, there's no strategies, right? These are just principles. And if you follow these principles, everything else falls into place because it's the principles that guide the strategy and the strategy guides the tactics. But we have to start with the principles first, right? So we have to be thinking upstream. We have to understand the 90-day sales rule and we have to be optimizing for happy customers. Now, let me give you an example of this, right? Most people on LinkedIn, and you can find people all over the place, right? Even if you look at LinkedIn influencers or whatever it is, if you go onto their profile, you will see a lead magnet. And if you don't know what a lead magnet is simply a piece of value that they give to you in exchange for you giving them your email address. All right. So you opt into their email list so that they can send you emails. And in return, you get a free PDF or AI prompts or 10 LinkedIn hooks that you can use, whatever it is, right? It's a lead magnet. Now, the problem with this is that that's not optimizing for happy customers. That's optimizing for email opt-ins, right? Because listen, over the past 5 months, I have had six conversations with LinkedIn influencers, right? And these people are successful on LinkedIn. They are selling their courses extremely well. They're doing very well, and they are great people. However, their emails are barely making any sales. Barely any sales. And I'm not exaggerating, right? I'm talking they're struggling to make 2-3 sales a month from their email list, even though they have literally thousands of people on their email list, right? It's crazy. And it's not their fault. It's because they're following strategies that are designed to optimize for email opt-ins rather than happy customers. Because there's this mindset in marketing that if you grow your email list, you will automatically have more customers. That is not true, right? That is complete BS, right? It is not true in the slightest. You can generate 500 email opt-ins and make 0 sales, right? Opt-ins does not equal sales. Now, of course, the bigger your email list, the more potential you have to make sales. But I can make more sales with a list of 15 people than some people can with a list of 1,000. And it all comes down to the context, right? Because if you have systems that are just designed to get email opt-ins, then great, you have email opt-ins. But my system that I follow is optimized for happy customers. So I can get 20 opt-ins and make 3 sales. right? And this is why it's so important to optimize for happy customers. Because again, like I said a minute ago, you want to start with your principles first, right? So these principles, optimizing for happy customers, going upstream, the 90-day sales rule, once you have those guiding principles, they guide the strategy. And then those strategies guide the tactics that you use. All right. And then really the strategy comes from optimizing for happy customers. So I'm hoping this makes sense. If it's not making sense, then I highly urge you to go to my profile, go to my newsletter, and read that page. That will give you all the context you need, and it will give you all the information that explains all of this in depth. All right, we don't have a lot of time here, so I want to value your time. But yeah, these are the main guiding principles. So now, what I want to do is actually show you how this plays out, because it's really, it's not good. Excuse me. So let me share this. All right. This, if you were to look at anybody's landing page or a LinkedIn profile and to go to the lead magnet, this is what it typically looks like, right? They have the LinkedIn profile. You go to the opt-in page. You opt in to get the free lead magnet, which may be a PDF, it could be AI prompts, it could be hooks, it could be whatever it is, right? So you opt in, and initially they send you the first email. This is the welcome email that everybody talks about. So what do you do in the welcome email? You say, "Hey Paul, thanks for joining. Here's your free PDF. By the way, if you want more help with your LinkedIn profile, then click here to schedule a call and I can walk you through it. Don't worry, it's not a hard sales pitch. Just, if I can help you, I will let you know. But if not, that's totally fine too. I promise you will get value." So that is email number one. That is the equivalent of you walking into the Rolex shop and the sales assistant giving you 5% off, right? You have not shown any interest in buying yet. You're just having a look around, right? So the minute you keep trying to sell to someone who's not ready to buy, you just push them away. And this is why so many people can generate a bunch of email opt-ins, like 500 opt-ins, and generate no sales, because they're just pushing for sales when nobody is ready to buy, right? Now, of course, if you're relying on volume, if you get 1,000 opt-ins, some people are going to buy, right? Some people just have that money burning a hole in their pocket. They want a solution to their problem right now. You've shown up at the right time, and boom, they will buy from you. That happens, of course it does. But that is not the majority. So when you do this, when you create a strategy that is based on optimizing for short-term profit, you make a few sales, but you push away the majority of your audience. And this is what most people does, right? Most people do. This is what we are trained to do. People opt into your landing page. They get the first email, you sell to them. The second email, you add a little bit of other value, and you say, "Oh, by the way, you can schedule a call here or check out my program." Then email three, it's the same thing. It's promoting your program. Then by the time you get to email five, what happens? You add in a deadline, and it might even be a fake deadline. It's like you have 24 hours to buy unless that's like until the price goes up, right? It's not even real, it's just a fake deadline. So all you're doing is trying to sell to an audience who are not ready to buy right now. So you sacrifice all of these long-term sales for some short-term profit. And let me give you an example of some maths on this, right? Let's say you generate 1,000 opt-ins, 1,000 opt-ins. And let's say over the course of 1 year, 365 days, 10% of those 1,000 leads convert into buyers, right? Based on the maths that I shared with you earlier, which is the 90-day sales rule, If you generate 100 customers, 80 of them would come after 90 days. Only 20 of them would come within the first 90 days, right? So if you're pushing for sales, trying to convert as many people as soon as possible, then yeah, you may make 20 sales. Amazing, 20 sales. But in doing that, you are sacrificing the 80% of future sales, right? And now listen, I understand 20% of sales, 20 sales is amazing, especially if you're selling a program for $1,000, for $5,000, whatever it is. That's amazing. But if you play the long game, you can get another 80 sales. 80 sales. That's how many sales, like 80%, that's how many sales most people are missing out on. And it's because they are following this typical strategy that most influencers are talking about, which in reality, they don't really understand. All right. So let me show you what a full email ecosystem actually looks like. And I call this Emailtopia. I'm not going to go into why I called it Emailtopia. It's based on the movie Zootopia. If you've recently watched Zootopia 2, it's one of the best movies ever created. Just go watch it. So, yeah, this is what a real email marketing ecosystem looks like. Now, again, I'm not going to dive into the details on this because it can get quite complicated, which I understand by looking at this, you go, oh my God, that's a lot. It's actually not that bad. However, if you want to fully understand this and to understand how the principles fit into this, then go to my LinkedIn profile, go to my featured section, and click on my newsletter. You can see, like, on that page how all of this fits into a system. But essentially, what this does is this allows you to optimize for short-term profit and long-term profit. So instead of just getting 20% of sales and missing out on the 80% of sales, you get everything. Okay. So here's how I do this. I have my landing page, my thank you page. And when somebody opts in, I am not promoting my program or my services or whatever it is. I put them through an immersion series. And what this immersion series is designed to do is to give them value, is to train them to open my emails, to read my emails, and to click my emails. Because long term, longevity in business and email marketing, you have to train people to actually read your emails and to click your emails and to buy from your emails. So that's what we do. We don't just send them a welcome email that's designed to get them just to reply for engagement's sake. No, we have to actively train them to open, to read, and to click. That's what this is all about, all right? Now, at the end of this, we have the opportunity to then sell to this audience because some people who opt in, as we talked about earlier, some of them are going to be interested in buying from you right away. And this is on day 6, right? I send an email each day. So email 6 is on day 6, or technically day 5, actually. So this is only 5 days in. So if they want to buy from me right away, they have the opportunity to do so. But I'm not trying to sell to everyone. I am using behavior-based marketing to sell to those people who want to be sold to. And if they show interest in my product, we then send them an automated promotion. All right. And that only goes to people who showed interest. All right. Everybody else who's not ready to buy right now, they do not get sold to. So they are not being put through the Rolex situation that I talked about earlier. All right. What happens is they then go into my newsletters. Whether you send an email each day, 3 times a week, once a week, twice a month, whatever cadence you want to follow, That is your newsletters. And this is how you keep people engaged long term. Now, I'll give you an example. My average newsletters get a 65% open rate. Now, of course, I don't like to look at open rates too much because with all of the iOS updates and Gmail and all of that stuff, a lot of email providers open emails automatically without the person actually opening the emails. So it's not completely reliable, right? But 65% is not bad. It's pretty good. And this is for longevity, right? This is for long term engagement. And you may be thinking, well, Paul, how do we make sales? Where does the money come from? Well, we run monthly promotions. And these monthly promotions are sent to everybody. And of course, we use segmentation. Again, I'm not going to cover that now. If you want more information on all of this, go to my profile, click the link, read the page. You'll get all the information you need. But this is where we make money, right? When anybody wants to buy from us, we give them the opportunity to do so. All right. So, what this whole system is about optimizing for short term profit and long term profit. So, if you go back to our document here, we're not missing out, we're not sacrificing short term profit. We're not sacrificing long term profit just so we can make some upfront sales. And we're not sacrificing long term profit for short term profit, right? We are optimizing for both. And this is how you build a business that thrives long term. Because if you get 1,000 opt ins to your email list, but you only generate 10 sales, well, there's obviously a problem, right? Because you're not optimizing for long term profit. And this is what the Emailtopia system helps you do. Now, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I have broken all of this down. Just go to my profile, my featured section, and you can see all of that. But I hope this has been helpful, right? And if you were to take anything from this live stream, understand this, that the most important principle in marketing, in life, in anything is upstream thinking. How can we go upstream and prevent problems before they become problems? All right. So that is it. If anybody has any questions, send me a message on LinkedIn or you can send me an email, whatever you want to do. Send me that and I'll be happy to give you any information. All right. So go to my profile, check out the link, and I'll see you in the next live stream.